for peace, filled with real tools and tips on how to keep the peace without losing the plot or your voice. She joins us to share more. Good morning, Tanya Lee.
Good morning, Tami.
Oh my goodness. This sounds like a book where our parents need to. I love the concept of this book. I love the idea of this book.
Yes.
I imagine it comes from your own experience in the classroom. And you are sharing plenty of tips. I just want to give some teachers watching right now 2 tips. Let's just start there. Let's just start with some meat. 2 tips that you would say they could walk into their classrooms with today that would help them.
That's right.
Okay, thank you again for having me on your show. So 2 of the most basic tips that a teacher can ever have is to understand that you are in charge of the class. And when you walk in the class, you have to demand that authority. You have to ensure that you set your class in a way that will set the tone for the entire session. So even a simple thing as ensuring that the students are organized, the desk and chairs are organized, that helps them to understand that Miss is ready to have class. Setting the pace, greeting them politely, and ensuring that they acknowledge you as their teacher. That alone will bring their attention towards you. And even how you talk to them. Asking them how they are feeling. Sometimes we want to get into the lesson, but just simply asking them, how was your weekend? How was your day? These are the things from the affective domain makes so much difference.
Well, it's important that you said that, because oftentimes we don't think about it like that. You go, the job is for me to come and teach. I am not here to find out how you do it, and you know what I mean? But that's a very good icebreaker, a very good springboard to learning, because if I feel that you care about me, then I might pay attention. I like that, that tip. But you talk about trauma-informed teaching. And I want to go there because, I mean, how can understanding trauma help a teacher to better manage their classroom?
All right, let us put it this way. If you don't understand what your students have been through, what their socioeconomic background is like, where they're coming from, you might come in the classroom with preconceived ideas as to what a student should be like, how they should operate, because your upbringing is different and your ideology of what it is a student should do and the standards that they should have is different. So understanding trauma and understanding that the world is not perfect, and students can have bad days too, they're humans, and they can be going through something, and all it takes is for you to probably just ask the student to come and sit beside me today. I'm gonna be working with you today. You're gonna be my little helper today. These little things, and after class you have a talk with them. Sometimes you learn so much. Rather than, I know that it's difficult for teachers when you're trying to teach the mass, and then there's always this disruptive one. And at some point, your cup can become so overfull that you don't even remember to consider that they're probably going through trauma, and it's a sign for help. So
Yeah, and not just trauma, there are all these other things that are going on all the time. Like, you know, we're learning so much about being neurodivergent, and you know, children aren't getting assessed as easily, so we don't know who's struggling with maybe some ADHD or something else. There's so many things to consider, and I'm really glad to hear that you've considered it all in this book. I want to talk a little bit about burnout. That's a word we hear all the time. Very relatable word. When you talk about burnout and how you found your way mentoring others through burnout, let's talk a little bit about that.
All right. So, as it relates to burnout, it's not something that happens immediately.
Right.
It just happens gradually, and it chips away your energy, and all the little elements matter. If your students were rude to you, it matters over time, even when you correct the behavior. If your supportive co-workers might say something to you and you didn't like it, it might not bother you initially, but over time, when these things build up, it can cause you to lose energy, lose your motivation, and then you start to question yourself, I'm doing all this work, and then I have to be dealing with all of this. Is it even worth it? You ask yourself those questions. And in the classroom particularly, it is such a thin line between burnout and forgetting your purpose and your passion for the classroom that you have to pay attention to some of the signs, like the stresses, the lack of motivation, you don't want to go to work, you're waking up and deliberately getting there late even when you were initially preparing to be early. So these are the things matter. You have the work to do and say, oh, well, I'll do it tomorrow. And you find yourself lagging, and it's sometimes it's because of stress over time and the burnout. Those things happen to teachers.
Sometimes we have to just talk to each other and say, are you experiencing this too? Just to even know that, oh, somebody else feels this way, I'm not alone. Because as you rightly said, children are people, but so are teachers. And it goes both ways, you know. So I said to students all the time, I'm like, I know you're having a hard time, but consider your teacher too, who might be going through her own hard time too, you know, in general consideration.
And the truth is, the modus operandi of some teachers is that they don't think about themselves. I see you here this morning in your lovely peach dress and your hair well put together. Some teachers, as you look at them, you see that they are not taking care or spending time on themselves, you know. How would you advise, given that context of teachers who say, I'm not even thinking about me at all? Student first.
Everybody comes before
I'm
me.
happy that you asked, and this is why the book is so important. So I am a teacher. I go above and beyond the call of duty for my students. I have maintained 100% pass rate in CAPE and CSEC for agriculture science. I have brought my students up through 4-H. They've received multiple awards, and we just have a relationship regardless of the grade level. We have a bond. And with that being said, to pour out so much in them, it can also take a toll on you. And this is why in the book I would have garnered a number of self-care tips from real teachers. And some of it is setting boundaries. You have to preserve your peace. Some people, I can recall in the book there was a particular teacher that said, after Friday, I don't mark papers anymore. I had to set that boundary to maintain my peace. And another one said, find something that you love. Your job is not your identity. And sometimes when the job gets difficult, if you find something that you love, it makes it less hard on you. Yes, so
well, it's a beautiful book. I can see, just even by looking at it, I'm like, oh, this is well done. Where can we get our hands on it? I would love for every teacher to have a book like this one in their hands. So where can we get it?
Okay, so the book is available on Amazon in ebook and also paperback. And it can also be delivered to you locally by reaching out to any one of my social media handles.
Which are they on the screen there? Tell us what they are.
Yes, so on Facebook, I am Tanya Lee Paul Reed on Facebook, and also on TikTok, I am a teacher's story, and on Instagram, I'm also a teacher's story on there.
Amazing, amazing work to even pull this all together for the greater good of teachers. I do think parents should read it too, because I bet there's some tips and tricks in there for us.
But this is a springboard to that book for parents too.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Thank you so much for all the amazing work you do. To hear what you just said a while ago, I was like, what? You love your job, and I can tell. And I'm really happy to see how you're trying to help other teachers to really get to that place where they can manage and thrive and really help students in front of them. So thank you for that. All right, that was Tanya Lee Paul Reed, or should I say Mrs. Paul Reed, teacher and author, showing us that with the right strategy, even the wildest classroom can find some peace. We're going to take a short break, and then it's over to TK for your morning news. We'll be right back.